What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and President Joe Biden made a major announcement that has totally shifted whether or not there was going to be more stimulus. And this is your Build Back Better and stimulus update. As take a look at this, you guys. Biden to extend the U.S. national emergency due to the pandemic health risk. That is right. The pandemic is not over. He has announced that it is going to be extended out officially here in this article. I'm going to give you all the details. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to be sharing with you what the White House is saying about President Biden pushing for more stimulus, and the Build Back Better talks are continuing on. Now, in addition to that, though, I've also got for you Congressman Grassley, who he came out and said, thank God for Joe Manchin stopping more stimulus, as it's going to be causing more debt and more inflation. Now, on the other hand, we're going to be hearing from the White House that they're saying we need Build Back Better and more stimulus to combat inflation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the actual video footage of what's unfolding. And it's very interesting that we're hearing the pandemic is getting extended out. Because if you take a look at the cases currently in the United States, you can see they're on a significant decline. And we have a 7-day moving average of 107,000 new cases in the United States. Yesterday was only 26,000, but the weekends are usually lower because they don't record them in full. And then we'll see a big bump up today. But take a look at this. Deaths, they're still pretty high, over 2,200 for the 7-day moving average. Now, a lot of people are suggesting that this might be due to the fact that just a little while ago, President Biden released this, covidtests.gov. And here you're going to be able to get free at-home tests. So they're saying they think a significant amount of the cases are not being reported because people are testing themselves at home and then they're not being included in the data. Now, we will see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys. But we're hearing this is going to be extended out, and this will likely promote more stimulus to get us through this pandemic. So I'm going to get you some video footage and the latest from Biden's announcement in today's video. So let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just takes a second. Really helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and you can come join the Ram fam. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so first up, let's take a look at President Joe Biden's announcement, and then we're going to be hearing from the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and then also from GOP congressmen. So first up, Biden to extend the U.S. national emergency due to the health risks of the pandemic. President Joe Biden said on Friday that the U.S. national emergency declared in March of 2020 due to the pandemic will be extended beyond March 1st due to the ongoing risk of public health posed by the pandemic. And Biden said that the deaths of more than 900,000 Americans from the pandemic emphasized the need to respond to the pandemic with the full capacity of federal government. And former President Donald Trump had declared a national emergency almost 2 years ago to free up $50 billion in federal aid. There remains a need to continue the national emergency, Biden said. And by doing this, he is saying we're going to need to provide more federal assistance, aka more stimulus. And he said this in a letter on Friday to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate. Now, the letter was released by the White House. The emergency would have been automatically terminated unless within 90 days prior to the anniversary date of the declaration, the President sent a notice to Congress stating it is to continue beyond the anniversary date. So it would have expired, but he announced we are extending this out. Biden's step to extend the emergency comes even as a slew of local leaders in the United States are dialing back on pandemic restrictions as the Omicron wave ebbs. Now, the governors of New York and Massachusetts announced last week that they would end certain mask mandates in states following similar moves by New Jersey, California, Connecticut, Delaware, and Oregon. U.S. health officials said earlier this week that they were preparing for the next phase of the pandemic as Omicron-related cases declined. So we're hearing that there's a lot of pullback. A lot of people are saying we're reaching the end of this, but President Joe Biden coming out and saying it's not over. And we're going to be extending out the official statement that we are in a pandemic. So that is very likely then. Like I said, going to be suggesting that there's going to be more additional federal aid to help combat the pandemic. Now, we will see, and President Joe Biden is still touting Build Back Better, and also, we've heard from progressives, another stimulus reconciliation bill is likely going to be coming in 2022. He said whatever does not make it in Build Back Better, they're going to come back and try to pass another bill in 2022 to get more provisions out to help out to deal with this. So you guys, let's hear first from the White House, as they're going to be saying that Build Back Better is going to combat inflation, provide more stimulus and aid and support to get us through this. And then we're going to hear from Republican GOP leader Grassley, who's going to be saying thank God for Joe Manchin and stopping more stimulus. Let's go ahead and take a look.
The president continues to talk about his Build Back Better plan. He did so today, did a couple of events last week. What is the White House expectation at this point about the future of that plan? Is there any evidence of any sort of forward movement, forward progress, even on a pared back version of that? There doesn't seem to be a lot of optimism or action right now on Capitol Hill, but can you talk about what the White House expectation is for that and why the president continues to bring this up?
Well, the president continues to bring it up because as we talk about the impact of inflation, which most people experience in their daily lives as rising costs, one of the ways that we can address that is by passing legislation that will help lower costs for Americans, whether it's child care or health care or the cost of prescription drugs. And we can do that and fully pay for it by making the tax system more fair. So what is encouraging to the president is that there is broad support for lowering costs for the American people in all of those categories and for making the tax system more fair. And we are continuing to work in lockstep and in partnership with a range of senators, and they're having their own discussions about moving these efforts forward.
Senator Grassley.
Inflation is something I hear from Iowans at each one of my 99 county meetings. 13 so far this year, and I'll bet I'll hear it at 12 next week. We know now that this inflation is not transitory. They were wrong then. We know that this inflation is very persistent and probably could get worse. Hopefully not, but it could be. Iowa families, you heard Thune, they're being hit by the same $3,500 a year increases in their costs, or you can call it a tax. Iowa small businesses can't keep up with the inflation. Nobody listened to Larry Summers when January he said we'd already spent too much money by the bill we passed before Christmas 2020, and he's pleading with the Democrats not to spend the $2 trillion that they did in March, but they didn't listen. He repeated that in April. He repeated that speech again in August. He repeated it again in October, and it was finally they listened to Manchin and Build Back Better. They didn't make it $4.5 trillion worse. They should have listened to him. We got to thank Senator Manchin to bringing some fiscal sanity to this Congress of the United States by saying he wasn't going to go along with Build Back Better. So the Fed has started to pull back about 6 months late, but they're doing it. So maybe they're doing what they can do to get it under control, even though it's late. I think the best thing that Biden could do would be to use the bully pulpit to tell Congress to spend less, like Manchin has advised his own Democrats to do, and he's led the way on that, because only the bully pulpit can bring confidence to the economy the way that the 100 members of Congress can't. Another thing he could do is undo all of the things he did to drive up gas prices. XL pipeline, shut down drilling in Alaska, offshore, on land, Gulf of Mexico drilling, state or national property, no drilling, putting impediments on fracking. All of this stuff is driving up the price of gasoline, and he could undo that very quickly. No, what do we get from the Democrats in the Congress? Just to reduce it by 18 cents by not having the federal gas tax. No, those same Democrats should be working with the House or with the White House to get these bad energy policies reversed. And can you believe the ridiculousness of the Democrat administration getting involved in saying banks shouldn't lend to energy companies? We have to have the flow of energy. That's what drives our economy.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Two very different opinions. One saying we need more stimulus because we need to help get through the pandemic and we need to combat inflation. The bill is going to take away from debt by increasing tax hikes, and it's going to help those suffering from inflation right now get a little extra money in their pockets. And then on the other hand, we have those saying stimulus is causing the inflation, and if we add more stimulus, we're going to be adding more to it. We need to just stop altogether and try to work our way out of this inflation spiral. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys, but we're hearing that there's a lot of talk about this stimulus being added, and also we are not yet out of this pandemic. So I'll keep you up to date here on the channel, and as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.